This video looks at all the different steps involved in electrical generation. Essentially, electricity is generated by spinning a big coil of wire in between a couple of magnets. All of the energy resources that you've looked at, with the exception of solar energy, find some way of making this coil of wire spin. If you think of a dynamo on a bike, that's when you pedal, which generates electricity to light up your bike lights. When you're spinning, by turning the wheel, you're making a small coil of wire within the dynamo spin round and round. When it does that, that kinetic energy is transferred to electrical energy, which can then be transferred as light energy. Most renewable energies work in this way and are fairly simple. If you think about a wind turbine, the wind is going to be blowing and spinning around the turbine, the things that look like propellers. And then inside that, you've got the spinning coil of wire within the magnets, which then generates electricity. In a hydroelectric dam, water has gravitational potential energy, which can flow down through a sort of wheel, which is the turbine, which is spinning around. Again, this has got that coil of wire inside it, and then that generates electricity. Similarly, wave power uses the water and directs it to go through a turbine, which can spin and generate electricity. Therefore, for most of these, you've got some kind of kinetic store of energy, which is being transferred into electrical energy, or you get gravitational potential energy, for example, the water in the hydroelectric dam, which is high up, or in the wave power when you're collecting the water, and again, this is allowed to drop, so it's got gravitational potential energy, which gets transferred into kinetic energy, which is then transferred into electrical energy. There's a clear and direct link about how you're making that turbine spin. It's slightly more complicated, but not very much more complicated, when you look at using fossil fuels, like burning coal, or nuclear energy, which is also non-renewable, or when you use geothermal energy, or biofuels. All of these energy resources rely on having some form of stored energy, which then can be released as thermal energy. The thermal energy is absorbed by water. The water will boil and become steam. The steam rises, and so that thermal energy is transferred into kinetic energy. The rising steam is then used to push round in that circular motion a turbine within the generator. And from there, it's exactly the same as the energy resources we looked at earlier. Renewable and non-renewable energy resources therefore rely on doing exactly the same thing, finding alternative ways to make that coil of wire spin within that turbine. You're going to have a go at drawing out some of the energy transfers in renewable and non-renewable energy sources. You might want to watch this video a couple of times, especially where we've got lots of those different steps, to try and get those ideas clear in your memory.